Hello everyone! I think I'm here. I think I'm live. Please talk to me. Tell me you can see me and hear me. Tell me if I sound like a chipmunk. That means my voice would be very high and squeaky. Hopefully not. Today we are doing phrasal verbs, and I'm going to take this out of my ear. Today we're doing phrasal verbs in English, another 10 to carry on with our list. I've already got quite a few of you jumping in and saying hi. Hello Daniel, hello Syed, hello Thomas, Daniela, Radi, Camille, Hadir, lots of you, hello. Great, so let's get started with our very first of the session, phrasal verb. And this is number 91, and it's for those of you who are green-fingered. And it's the phrasal verb bed out. To bed out, it means to move a plant outside. So I said for those of you who are green-fingered, if you're green-fingered, it means you're very good at gardening. You're very good with plants and flowers. You can make them thrive and grow. I tend to... Sometimes I'm green-fingered, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I kill plants by accident. I overwater them, or I don't feed them, or I give them too much sunlight or something, and they die, and I cry. But you can describe someone as being green-fingered. Now, the phrasal verb to bed out just means to take a plant, normally a young plant, and to put it out where you're going to grow it. So you might have started it off in a greenhouse, which is made of glass to keep it warm, or you might have started it in a dark cupboard inside the house, or maybe just on your windowsill. And once it's grown and it's a little bit more tough and robust, then maybe it's strong enough to go outside and to be bedded out. You can bed it out. So the example sentence I've given here is, once the frost has thawed, we should think about bedding the plants out. Once the frost has thawed, we should think about bedding the plants out. To thaw means to melt or to thoroughly warm up. If something has been frozen or really, really cold, once it warms up, it has thawed. Once it's warmed up, dried out, it has thawed. So once the frost has thawed, we should think about bedding the plants out. So, as with all of these phrasal verb sessions, you have a chance to have your practice sentences corrected. So please try to write a sentence using the phrasal verb bed out. And tell me if you are green-fingered or not. And while you're doing that, I'm going to jump into my Patron Skype room. Hello, patrons. It's a delight to see you. Alexander, you've posted this very Christmassy looking photograph, and you said, hello, Anna. It's nice to see you again. Quick question. How would you describe the house in the picture? Is it festooned with fairy lights, or is the house decorated with Christmas lights? I would say it's decorated with Christmas lights. I have never seen this word, festooned. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I've just never seen it. So I would say decorated. It's looking like a Christmas tree. Even it's covered in Christmas lights. Marta said hello. I've got others of Andreas is in. Hello, Andreas. So patrons, do feel free to talk to me in the Patron Skype room. Oh, wonderful. I've had a super chat dropped as well. So Popescu Ina, hello. Thank you very much for your very kind donation. If you drop super chats, then you can also write a comment with your super chat. So your comment is highlighted and I can see it, and I definitely am able to answer your question or comment. So if you are thinking of putting a super chat, then do feel free to also add a comment to that as well. Popescu, I haven't seen you before actually. Are you a new subscriber here? As a donator, any donators get a chance to choose one of the notes that I've done from one of the sessions. So please let me know which notes you would like me to send you. Drop me an email. My email is at the bottom of the description for this video, and I'll send you the notes as a thank you for your donation. All right, so I've had a few examples coming through. So let's have a look at these. Theus. Am I saying that right? I'm not sure. You've put, my mum beds out her roses. Oh, hang on. Let me just push this down. Do the next one in a minute. My mum beds her roses out to take sun. So mum is American. If you're writing in British English, it's spelt like this. So you can choose which one you want to do, but just bear in mind, if it's British English you're going for, that's the spelling. American English is that spelling. So I'll put it into British English because obviously I'm British, so let's keep it with that for now. My mum beds her roses out to take sun. It's not incorrect, but I'm going to change it and make it more natural. To give them some sun. My mum beds her roses out to give them some sun. That would sound very natural to me. Paluxio has said, will you help me bed out the plants, Jimmy? That's very good. Well done. Then we have, I'm waiting for the spring because I can't wait to bed out some of my plants, says Tomek. Very good. That's perfectly written as well. And Garcia has said, after Christmas, we will be bedded out our Christmas tree in the garden. Okay, let's have a quick look at this one. So let's have a look at this together. After Christmas, we will be bedded out our Christmas tree. So we will bed out. You don't need the ED. We will bed out. After Christmas, we will bed out our Christmas tree in the garden. And that's perfect. Okay? There we go. So after Christmas, we will bed out our Christmas tree in the garden. Good. All right, let's move on to the next one. I think you've all got the hang of it. So bed out. So the next one, which you might have seen, is beef up. To beef something up is to make something stronger or more effective. So you might talk about a person beefing up. If a person beefs up, it means they get more muscly. So they beef up, they become stronger. And you can talk about things being beefed up. So you could talk about maybe in the example sentence, the security in a company being beefed up. You might beef up your car if you make changes and add things to make it stronger and more effective. So the example I've given here is, have you seen Peter lately? He has been going to the gym a lot with his new girlfriend. And, oh gosh, we're going right off the page here. Let me just widen this out for you so we can actually see it. He's been going to the gym a lot with his new girlfriend and has really beefed up. He's become stronger. We should consider giving him a job as a bouncer. Now, a bouncer is a security man. You would normally find them at pubs and clubs and bars if they're very busy at the weekends. Big muscly man who looks after the place and makes sure that no one misbehaves, keeps everyone safe. Security. So we should consider giving him a job as a bouncer, as we do need to beef up security at the club. We need to make security more effective. Okay? All right, so let's have a look at some of your examples. And one here has just caught my eye in the Patron room. So Jose has said, Anna beefs up our English. That's very funny. Yes, good. That's a good example. But just make sure you spell this correctly. There's no E. Beefs, just FS at the end. And Marta, my English is beefing up. Thanks, Anna. You're welcome. Very good. I like that. Well done. Okay. So what are you guys saying on the YouTube chat room? My coach in the gym will beef up me for 3 months. So we need to adjust this particular sentence, and this was aptem. Sorry, it's written in characters that I don't recognise, so I'm sorry if I've mispronounced your name, but you've written this sentence here. You've said, my coach in the gym will beef up me for 3 months. So we need to move this around. Will beef me up. Will beef me up. Or you could say, will help me beef up. Will help me to beef up over the next 3 months. Okay? My coach in the gym will help me to beef up over the next 3 months. I hope that helps. Rana has written this sentence. Beefing up the chickens is not a good idea. Yeah, that's fine. So making chickens particularly big and strong, you're saying is not a good idea. Just make sure you put a full stop at the end. And let me do just one more. So Alexander in my Patron room has said, I need to beef up to get ready for my summer trip. So you need to get muscly for your summer trip. It's always a good idea to beef up your English. We need new talented football players to beef up Dynamo Kiev. Perfect. Very nice. The lecture was perfect as it was beefed up with a few jokes and humorous comments. Very good. Nice. Great. Okay. So, yes, you can say that beef up means to improve, but it normally means to add to. So you add to it to make it more effective and stronger. All right. So the next one on the list. This has 2 potential meanings, and it's the phrasal verb belong to. Let's have a nice sip of my tea. It's freezing cold in the UK at the moment. I was just out before I started teaching, and I'm cold to my bones, so I thought a nice hot cup of tea while teaching would warm me up. So, belong to, it can mean one of 2 things. It can mean you are a member of something. I belong to a group. I belong to a club. I belong to a team. Or it can mean that it is the property of something or someone. So, to be a member of something, nice and easy. We all belong to a special little community. Or I could say, I belong to a gymnastics club. I belong to a squash club. I belong to a special little group of English learners. Okay? And then to be the property of someone, you could say, this belongs to me. This belongs to me. That belongs to you. So that's right next to you now, that belongs to you, but this belongs to me. It's the property of me or you. And the example sentence I've given here is, this watch once belonged to your grandma. It now belongs to you. Nice and easy. And I just want to give another shout out to another very generous viewer, and that is Julia. Lovely Julia from Italy has dropped a €2 super chat. Thank you so much, Julia. You're very, very sweet. And you know, as you are a very loyal donator, that I will share with you the notes to all the lessons you donate on. It's the least I can do for your ongoing support and loyalty. Okay, just a quick note while I'm talking about donations. There are a number of ways that you can contribute and help this community to grow. It doesn't always have to involve money. I know that not all of you have much money to part with, and that's exactly why I started this YouTube channel, to give you free education. But you can still help me to help you by doing things like giving a video a like, by watching the lessons that I make for you, and by sharing, by subscribing, and by interacting. All that kind of stuff is very positive for the channel. It helps the channel to grow, and then it helps other people to find the channel easily. And that's all I really, really need from you, is just your interaction. If you want to go a step further, you can provide translations, so you can translate any of my videos, and thank you so much if you already have done that. There's so many of you have provided your language on many of my videos, and it's amazing. You're helping so many people in your country, so thank you. So you can do that just by clicking on the ... or the more section and below any video, and it'll say translations, and then you add you can just translate a title, a description, or do full subtitles. And then you can also go a step further if you want to, and that is to become a patron. Now, patrons are also receiving rewards. Some patrons give $1 a month, and some patrons give more. And depending on your level of patronage, you are rewarded. I've just introduced a new system where not only do you get to be part of the Skype room, but you get access to certain Dropbox folders where I've put all my notes. I've also put a whole bunch of audios, MP3s, to help you with pronunciation. I've got readings in there, so me reading poetry and stories, extracts. I've also got a Dropbox for quizzes where you have the questions and answers for English stuff. And I'll be adding to these all the time. And there's a folder full of all the ebooks that I've written. Now, all of these folders are going to be constantly updated. I will add more each week. And depending on your patronage, you will get access to everything that goes into those folders. Okay? So patrons, if you haven't already got involved with that, then go and check it out. And if you are thinking about being a patron, that's one very good reason why you should definitely consider it, because you are also being given lots of resources as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Oh no, let me do your feedback. Sorry, so I've had lots of examples coming through. So I've got this jacket not belongs to me. So Marta, this should be this jacket does not belong, no S, to me. This jacket does not belong to me. And that's perfect. I missed one up here, Marta. New Year's resolutions help me to beef up in my life. I would not use in my life. I would just say New Year's resolutions help, no S, help me to beef up. Alexander, he belongs to those groups. Those is plural. Groups needs an S. Those groups of teenage students who study well at school. Good. I want to belong to the best English group learning online. Good. Although I would change this around. I want to be part of the best English learning group online. So just switch those two around and that's perfect. Oh, sorry, that's Marta. So just switch those two around. You've already corrected for me. Thank you, Alexander. We are not sure whose belongings those are and to whom it belongs. Is this sentence correct or doesn't it make any sense? We're not sure whose belongings those are or to whom it belongs. It's fine apart from here you're talking about multiple belongings and now you're talking about a single item to whom they belong. Take off the S. To whom they belong would work fine. Okay? My cousin's son always says, don't touch it because it belongs to me. Lose that, Abdullah. My cousin's son always says, don't touch it because it belongs to me. And then that would be perfect. Okay, I'll do 2 checks from the YouTube room and then we'll move on. Dr. Samir says, which country do you belong to? Good, that's really good. And I've got, I belong, hang on. I'm just trying to find one. There's lots of lovely messages coming through. Thank you for your compliments. Here's one. Okay, Tomek says, as a lone wolf, I do not belong to any group and I'm happy about it. Good, Tomek. Just one spelling mistake. Let me show you. So you wrote this. As a lone wolf. This spelling is only plural with the S on the end. That's wolves. If it's one wolf, then it's spelled like this. As a lone wolf, I do not belong to any group and I'm happy about it. Okay, there you go. So that's the two that I promised to do. And oh bless, another super chat has come through. So thank you, Kokab. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on. Belongs to, nice and easy. Then we've got something similar but different. To belong with. To belong with. To be in the correct or appropriate location with other items. So, for example, you could say that this lid on this pen belongs with the pen. This lid belongs with this pen. This lid does not belong with this pen because this is a black lid and this is a blue pen. However, the blue lid belongs with the blue pen. Okay, so this does not belong with that. This belongs with that. So that's nice and simple. Which items go together? Which ones belong with each other? You could also say that I belong with you. You belong with me. We belong together. And the example sentence I gave here was, the children belong with their mother and father. So we must make it a priority to reunite them. So there, I was imagining that I was a policewoman and I found two lost children and we don't know what to do with them. And I've said, look, they belong with their mother and father. We must make it a priority to reunite them. To reunite is to bring things that belong with each other back together. To bring them back together. Okay, so Thayasa said, I belong with nerd groups. Okay. Garcia, this phone belongs with that headphones. Headphones, because it's naturally plural, because there's two headphones, one for each ear, you have to say those headphones. This phone belongs with those headphones. Can I say that we belong together? Yes. Yes, you can. We belong together. So if you're in love with someone and you think you make the perfect match, you can say we belong together. Stunning lad, hello. As I belong, you need a comma. Oh, right. Okay. You're answering other people in the room, chat room. Thank you. Okay. So, all right. So just so you know, guys, in the YouTube chat room while we're live now, Stunning Lad 1 is also a native, very good with his English language as he is a teaching assistant, also has a YouTube channel, but he is very helpful. So if you have a question I don't answer, then just tag him and he might be able to help you. Thank you, Stunning Lad. All right, so let's just have a quick look at the examples here. Marta, those chairs belong with this wooden table. Perfect. I'm going to give that some love. Yeah. Well done. Good. Okay. What's the difference between belong to and belong with? All right. So let's imagine it's two people. So me and... Oh, where is my teddy? I don't know where my teddy bears have gone. They've gone for a walk. My teddy bears have wandered off. All right. Let's imagine these two. So I'm going to use a pencil, a broken pencil and a pen. A pencil and a pen. They go together very well. They're in love with each other. And they work together very well. They belong together. The pencil might say to the pen, you belong with me. You belong with me. They go together. They work well together. But the pencil does not own the pen. He doesn't have rights over the pen. Just like I wouldn't own my boyfriend or my husband, or I would own my children, but not really. They are individual human beings. They have their own rights and their own life. And so they don't belong to me, but they belong with me. So we make a good match. We work well together. We should be together, but I have no rights over them. They're not my possessions. I don't possess them. If you had a slave, which obviously doesn't exist anymore, it's illegal because it was wrong, but slaves would have belonged to their master. Okay, so they didn't belong with their master, absolutely not, but they did belong to their master. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's carry on. So the next one's a fun one, and it is the phrasal verb belt out. To belt something out, I think I actually covered this in the slang phrases. To belt something out is to sing something loudly. And the example sentence I've given here, which is true, there is nothing I love more than belting out my favourite song in front of a crowded room. So a crowded room is a room full of people. So there's nothing that I love more than belting out my favourite song in front of a crowded room. Hopefully that makes sense. It means I really, really love to sing out loud in front of lots of people. It's kind of true, kind of not true. It depends on the song and how relaxed I am with the audience and what I'm doing. But I want you to give me a sentence using the phrasal verb to belt out. He belted out a song. We are belting out our favourite song. I want to belt out Tina Turner, Simply the Best, in front of my mother. So give me a sentence. It's pretty simple, I think. I've got Arham says, I belt out a Titanic song in my room. Perfect. Just make sure you put a full stop at the end, and that's really good. I can belt out Laurels for you. Fantastic. Is Laurels the name of a song? I'm not familiar with it, but I'm assuming it is. My niece always belt out in front of me. Okay, so let me just correct this for you. Let me just pull this over into the notes so everyone can see it. My niece. So always remember, starting a sentence with a capital letter. My niece always belts. This has to be an S. I belt out. You belt out. But he, she belts out. Okay? So it's just about the conjugation of the verb. My niece always belts out in front of me. So always belts out what? With belts out, it's better to put. It doesn't really work without saying what they're singing out loud. Okay? So you can even, if you're not wanting to specify a song, you can just say, my niece always belts out the latest tunes in front of me, or my niece always belts out her favourite songs. So you can be generic, but you have to kind of add what it is they're belting out. It makes more sense that way. Otherwise, it just feels a little odd. And can I just remind you that a full stop must always be on the end of your sentences. Okay? All right, so let me have a quick look at my patrons. Lady, not Gaga, okay, belted out the song so loud that we could hardly hear ourselves talk. I wonder. Stunning Lad, here's a question for you, if you can answer. Should it be so loudly, or is it okay to say so loud? I know that a lot of natives say so loud, but should it technically be so loudly? She belted out so loudly. She belted a song out so loudly. I'd love to know if you could answer that for me. Help me with that one. That we could hardly hear ourselves talk. The rest of it is perfectly fine. We'll come back to that. Hopefully Stunning Lad might be able to help me with that one. I hate my neighbour. Good spelling, by the way. That's the British spelling. Well done. I hate my neighbour because he, you don't need of, because he is belting out songs. Is it a general thing? If it's a general, I want to see always in there because he's always belting out songs. Otherwise good. Kids belt out a heart-melting rhyme on the stage. We're on the stage, not in the stage. On the stage. Good. A lot of drunk people belted out something cheerful. Very good. Okay, so Stunning Lad has come back and said so loud is fine. So that's fine. Well done. Thank you, Stunning Lad. And my husband is always complaining about my belting out of his unfavourite songs. So you change this to my husband is always complaining about me belting out his least favourite songs. Belting out his least favourite songs. Okay, good. All right, I think you've got the hang of that. So let's move on. And the next one, ooh, this is a good one. Now, the next one is to belt up. Belt up. This can be used in two ways. If I tell you to belt up, it's kind of a harsh way of saying be quiet. So it's not offensive. It's not swearing or anything like that. But if I say, hey, belt up, I'm saying stop making noise, stop talking or shouting or singing or whatever you're doing, stop it. I need some quiet, or I want you to just stop. It's like saying shut up. Now, both of these phrases, belt up, shut up, are a bit harsh. I wouldn't expect any of you to tell me to belt up. It would be a bit harsh. I'd be like, oh, it's a bit rude. And I wouldn't say to any of my students, belt up. I might say to my brothers and sisters, or to my children, if I had little children, I might say, hey, belt up. Your mother is very tired. I don't need to listen to you. Okay? So, belt up, a strong term for asking people to be quiet. So the example I gave here was, I can't hear myself think with all this noise. Will you boys please belt up for 2 minutes? Okay? Good. And the other example is to use it to mean fasten your seatbelt. So if you get into a car, you could say belt up just as a standalone order or request, meaning please fasten your seatbelts. Strap yourself in. Belt up. So, all right, guys, you're all in. Please belt up and we're going to go. And the example I gave was, the first thing we do after we get into the car is belt up. It's nice and easy. So give me some examples. And as you're doing that, I just want to say a huge hello to Swavamir. Hope I pronounced that correctly. You're very sweet. Hello, Anna. Well, hello to you, and thank you so much for your donation. That's very sweet. Gosh, a lot of you donating today. That's really kind of you. And Zahir has also donated. What is that? Is that Canadian dollar that you've donated in? I see all these currencies. I'm not very familiar with different currencies, but thank you so much. Guys, all of you that have donated, don't forget you can choose notes from any of the lessons I've done and ask me to send them to you. So if I did a lesson on something you really cared about and you wanted the notes for them, just email me and I'll send you those notes. And remind me that you dropped a super chat, and then I'll send over the notes for you. So thank you very much. It's very sweet of you to want to help the community. Okay, so Rahana has asked, can belt up mean beat up? No. You can belt someone. So if I say he belted me in the face, then I'm meaning he hit me. Or if I say I'm going to belt you, I'm threatening to hit you. I'm going to belt you. Of course I wouldn't. But you wouldn't say belt someone up. It's not the same. Belt up is not a phrasal verb to mean to attack someone. That's beat up. That's all. Okay. So let's have a look at some examples. Some funny examples coming through. You should belt up when the teacher is speaking, says Adnan. You should belt up when the teacher is speaking. Good. Make sure there's a full stop at the end and a capital letter at the beginning. Anjali says, my neighbour's dog is too annoying, so I told them to belt their dog up. Good. Tell them to belt the dog up. Belt the dog up. That doesn't feel quite right. To belt the dog up. Let's have a look at this together. So my neighbour's dog, it's possessive, so let's put a little apostrophe in here. My neighbour's dog is too annoying. I would say so annoying here rather than too annoying. Yeah, just so annoying works better. My neighbour's dog is so annoying. Therefore, because we don't want to use so twice, I would write therefore. I told them to make the dog, I would write to make the dog belt up. It just feels weird to say belt the dog up. It sounds like they're going to tie the dog up with a belt. My neighbour's dog is so annoying, therefore I told them to make the dog belt up. Okay. There we go. Okay, so some of you are asking, is it rude to say belt up? Kind of, as I explained at the beginning, yes, it's a little bit rude. Not very rude. It depends in the nature or of your relationship with the person you're talking to. If you've got a familiar relationship and you have a bit of banter, you make fun of each other a lot, you're very relaxed with each other, then you can say, hey, belt up. But I wouldn't use it in a professional sense at all. And I wouldn't use it with someone that you're just generally nice with, because they might take offense or they might be a bit surprised. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the patrons and then we'll move on to the next one, which is, you guys have said, belt up, guys. Anna is speaking. Very good, Marta. Belt up, you boys. Your mother is sleeping. Good. Just belt up. I'm trying to concentrate. Good. Nice. Let's have a look. My grandma forgot to belt up in the car. My grandma forgot to belt up in the car. So just add the, and that's fine. Yesterday, I forgot to belt my son up in the car. I forgot to belt my son up in the car. Yeah, that works. Although can I just point out that belt up is normally just used just as an order or a request. I need you to belt up. Let's belt up. Has everyone belted up? That's how I would normally in this sentence, Marta, I would say, yesterday I forgot to put my son's seatbelt on. And then you wouldn't need in the car, because we only have seatbelts in the car in general day-to-day life. Okay, so I forgot to put on my son's seatbelt is what I would say naturally. I ask my family to belt up so that I can listen to Anna. I asked, past tense, something you have done. I asked my family to belt up so that I could listen to Anna. Or I'm asking my family to belt up so I can listen to Anna. That works, that's fine. Anna, could you please say out loud these? Okay, so I'll do that at the end, Alexander, okay? All right, so belt up, we got that one. So the next one is to bend down. To bend down. Now, I've got two coming up that are very similar, and the other one is to bend over. They're very, very similar because they mean lowering your body down to the ground. Now, if you bend down, it's very much meaning your upper body is lowering. And that could be bending down with bending the legs. It could be bending down just by leaning over one side. It could be bending down forwards. Some way lowering your body down. And the example sentence I've given here is, bend down and grab my handbag, please. Bend down and grab my handbag, please. Okay. One of you has asked, what's happened to your name in the back? I didn't notice that. It's got nah, English. Thank you for pointing that out. I will correct that after this lesson. Okay, so the next one is bend over. Bend over. Now it's pretty much interchangeable with bend down. Bend down and bend over are pretty much the same, and you can use them interchangeably a lot. However, bend over more specifically means to take your upper body forwards, bending in the middle of your body. Let me give you an example. So, okay, I'll shout from over here. So this is bend down. This is bend over. Yeah? Bend down, bend over. But this can also be bend down. But this is always bend over. Yeah? while I'm here. Fix that. Okay, so bend down and bend over, very, very similar. But bend over is always bending at the middle, practically keeping straight legs. And the example sentence I've given is here. And I've made a typo. Let's just correct that. So, I was bent over trying to tie my laces, but I suddenly felt dizzy and stumbled forwards, banging my head on the cupboard. Ouch. Okay, so try and write a sentence using bend down or bend over. And I want to say another thank you to Zahir, who's also once again dropped a super chat saying, I'm trying to join your patrons room, but I can't. Zahir, so the patrons room is for patrons and it's a long-term join. So once they're a patron, they join the Skype room and they don't leave. So even if you're a patron for just a month, you can join the Skype room and you'll be in the Skype room long term. Okay? So it's one of the rewards. Now, I guess the best way, if you want to join the Patron Skype room, you'd have to go to the Patron page. And that's linked down in the description box below. And then also Zahir, if you do that, then you're going to get access to all those Dropbox files as well. So I definitely do recommend it. I'm definitely doing as much as I can now for patrons, because honestly, without my patrons, I can't do what I'm doing for you guys. My patrons really do help to keep me online, to keep me motivated, and yeah, to just keep me ticking over when everything is going wrong. And yeah, so if you want to be a patron, then you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you. Just hit the Patreon link down below. Come and check out which level of patronism you'd like and which rewards you'd like, and then sign up for that. Okay, so let's have a look at your example sentence for bend down or bend over. So I've got this example. Let's have a look at this one together. I bend over to take things that I dropped on the floor. Okay, so I bend over. Are we talking just in general? I bend over. Yes, I think we are. So that's fine. To pick things up. And that's another phrasal verb, to pick up. So I bend over to pick things up that I dropped. So because you've used dropped, I want to use past. I bent over, past. I bent over to pick. Now I want to change this around. To pick up. To pick up the things that I dropped on the floor. That feels better. I bent over to pick up the things that I dropped on the floor. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, I bent down to pick up my phone, says Sharlaw. Very good, well done. I bend down to find my keys underneath my bed. Guys, remember, if you're talking in the past, it's bent rather than bend. Okay? So if it's in the past, I bent. I will bend. I can't bend. But I did in the past, I bent. I bent down, I bent over. Okay? All right, let's have a look at the patrons. Marta says, I bent over to pick up my son's toys. Perfect. Well done. I'm going to give you some love. Very nice. Okay, let's move on. Number 99. We're nearly there. Now, I like this one. This is a fun one, and it's to big up. If you big something up, you exaggerate the quality, the importance, or a positive aspect of the thing or the person. So for example, I could say, I have the most amazing cup. It does the most amazing things. It holds drinks better than any other cup in the world. The colours are so vibrant that anyone who sees this cup will want this cup. And it also makes everything inside the cup taste better than anything in the world. It's amazing. Like, you should pay so much money for one of these because they're amazing. I'm bigging it up. It's just a cup. So I'm exaggerating how good it is. I could also big up a person. I could big up myself. I could say, hey guys, I'm like amazing. I should be like on every television all over the world. I should be on all the radio stations. I'm an amazing singer. I'm an amazing dancer. I can play tennis like Serena Williams. I am like as good as Mariah Carey when I sing. I'm really great and I'm really strong. I can do 25 pull-ups on one hand. So I'm bigging myself up. Of course, it's not true. I'm exaggerating. So big up. And the example sentence I've given here. She bigs him up a lot, but he really isn't as talented as she makes him out to be. She bigs him up a lot, but he really isn't as talented as she makes him out to be. If you make this bit at the end, I wrote this on purpose, and I know it'll be confusing to some of you. As talented as she makes him out to be. This phrase, it means to make something out. It's how I describe something. The story. It's if I say the weather is amazing, I'm making out like the weather is amazing. And if it's not as amazing as I made it out to be, then it's not as good. So it's how I describe something. That's how I make it out to be something. It's very hard to explain. I didn't think it would be as hard to explain as it is. Does it make sense to anyone? Or is everyone really struggling with that one? She bigs him up a lot, but he really isn't as talented as she makes him out to be. Let me know. And do write your examples and I will correct them for you. Okay. So let me have a look at your examples. I've got whenever he talks, he bigs up things. I would change it around. He bigs things up. I put the object of what's being bigged up in the middle. He bigs things up. So whenever he talks, he bigs things up. I think you put when and ever together, one word, whenever. Whenever he talks, he bigs things up. Rashad says to be successful at work, then you need to big up your boss. I think it probably helps. I wouldn't use then. You don't need then because you're saying to be. You need. So you don't need to put then. Let me show you. So you've written this. To be successful at work, then you need to big up your boss. I don't think you need this word. To be successful at work, and lose the comma. To be successful at work, you need to big up your boss. Full stop. Okay? Okay, let's have a look at the patrons. I have to bring my dog upstairs, so I bent past. Oh no, I bend over to pick up my dog and carry him upstairs. So if it's in the future, if it's something that you will do, then put will. So I will bend over to pick him up. I'd put him rather than my dog because we've already said dog once. So I have to bring my dog upstairs, so I will bend over to pick him up and carry him upstairs is what I would write. Okay, right, so the very last one. Quite an important one to know. You might have come across it before. There are two versions, two meanings for this particular phrasal verb, and it's blackout. Blackout. Now, a blackout can mean that you fall unconscious. Gone. You just black out. So you become unconscious all of a sudden. Or it can mean to lose light. So if suddenly the electricity was turned off, so my house no longer had electricity, everything would go dark. I would lose all the light. And therefore, we would describe it as having a blackout. Okay? And here are the two examples for those meanings. So for falling unconscious, Harry blacked out a lot when he was a teenager, but never as an adult. So Harry was falling unconscious a lot when he was a teenager, but he's never done it as an adult. And for losing light, can you imagine if there was a blackout while we are watching the horror film tonight? That would be so scary, wouldn't it? Can you imagine if there was a blackout while we are... can you imagine if there was a blackout while we were watching the horror film tonight? That would be so scary, wouldn't it? Yeah, I wasn't sure about how I'd written that, but I think it's fine. So I'm saying if the lights and all the electrics suddenly went off and the house went dark in the middle of watching a horror film, that would be really scary. I would be very scared if that happened. Right, so let's have a look. Thea says, blackout is common in my city when it rains. Oh, that must be really annoying. And make sure you put an S on the end. Blackouts are common in my city when it rains. Gosia, my electricity blacks out, and that is why I black out. I wake up in the hospital. Let's have a look at this. It's good you've used both versions. I like it. I like it a lot. So you've written, my electricity blacks out, and that is why I black out. I wake up in the hospital. Now, this sounds like you're talking in general. It would make more sense to say, my electricity... No, you wouldn't say electricity. You'd say, we had a blackout. We had a blackout, and that is why I blacked out. Maybe in a panic, or as I was panicked. As I was panicked. I woke up in the hospital. We had a blackout, and that is why I blacked out. As I was panicked, I woke up in the hospital. Ta-da! Okay, Ali, I was preparing for exam at the night, but light blackout and I lost the time. I need to make some corrections. I was preparing for an exam. You have to use the article, an exam, at night. You don't say at the night, at night. But the lights blacked out and I ran out of time. Or as I had run out of time. It depends. Are the lights blacking out unexpectedly, or were you on a meter? Are they blacking out because you've run out of electricity? Sometimes you pay for electricity on a card or in a meter, and it just winds down. And when it's run out, then everything switches off. If that's the case, then I'd say I ran out of time. I ran out of time because the electricity ran out and I couldn't complete preparing for my exam. I'm rambling quite a lot. You can tell I've had a tough day today. I was preparing for an exam at night, but the lights blacked out and I ran out of time. Yeah, that worked for me. Okay, let's have a quick look at the patrons and then I'll let you go. What have we got here? Okay, I always try to big my friends up to support them and their initiatives. Very good. Products are very often bigged up by commercials. Very true. Leonardo DiCaprio getting the award was a big up for him. Very good. Last blackout frightened my son. Marta, I would just use an article there. The last blackout frightened my son. And I've never blacked out. Good. Anna, both are correct. Loud and loudly. Okay, yeah, cool. That's why it's sometimes confusing. All right, my darlings, thank you so much. Alexander, I will come back to your words. I will actually do it as a recorded message on Skype for you, so I'll send that to Skype so you get those pronunciations. It's the least I can do. Good. Okay, well, there you go. That's 10 more phrasal verbs. I'm just going to recap what we had. We had blackout, obviously. We had big up, big up. We had bend down and bend over. We had belt up or in the car. We have belt out, la. We have belong with, We belong together. And belong to, you are mine. We have beef up, her, to make something more effective and strong. And to bed out, to put the little plants outside to grow. Okay, so nice and easy, I think, this week particularly. Next week, we've got some more very interesting phrasal verbs coming up. Fingers crossed, as long as I don't have any more technical issues, because again, today I had technical issues and it's very frustrating. I think I may need a new computer, but let's just see what we can do for now. Thank you so much to my patrons. I hope you're enjoying the Dropbox system, and more things will be added over this week, so do keep an eye out for notifications. Thank you if you've joined me here. Don't forget to give it a thumb and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you did donate today, you are awesome. You motivate me so much. Thank you. And have a great evening. I will see you very soon. Lots of videos coming this week, so stay tuned. All right, guys, take care. Lots of love from London.